Enough is enough. Oh my goodness.
What's up guys, and how you all doing? Well, I've just found a PlayStation fanboy that's actually talking about a PlayStation game for a change, and not talking about anything Xbox is doing. Obviously I'm talking about the amazing Lucas. I think he's the only one that stays faithful to PlayStation more than the rest of them, and doesn't talk about Xbox half as much as the rest of the fanboys, although he does talk about them. I'm actually going to correct myself there. On his live streams he doesn't shut up about Xbox. I was completely wrong there. So Lucas has gone about talking about the only notable PlayStation game of the year, which is Spider-Man 2. But the only thing he seems to be worried about is the character models, specifically Mary Jane's character model, how she looks old in Spider-Man 2. Personally, I don't know why the hell they changed Peter's character model 3 times already. They had the first version of the 2018 Spider-Man, then they had the remaster, and then they have the new Peter, and the boy has a big neck. To be fair, I don't give a shit what the character models look like. All I care about is the gameplay, and I would state that all the time. Personally, I don't find the character models offensive in any way, shape or form, but you know what these fanboys are like. They care more about how the game looks than how the game runs or how it plays. Or where it seems like Miles Morales' character model looks exactly the same except that he's got a new hairdo, which is perfectly fine. But I don't get why Insomniac felt the need to change the character models' looks at all. Why didn't they just stick with what they had or make them look slightly older? But Mary Jane's character model looks like she should be Peter's mother, not his lover. I'm personally not offended by the character model because she looks like a hot cougar. But I still don't know why Insomniac felt the need to change the character models at all. It seems like there's no consistency in the games at all. But character models aside, who really cares as long as the gameplay is good? Oh, that's right. This guy does. Let's go and see what he has to say.
Oh my goodness. So, we have to admit facts, all right? We have to call a spade, and that is Insomniac has been lying to the fans for quite some time.
Well, Lucas, you've got to admit they lied. They said they weren't going to bring Spider-Man to the PC, and then they ended up bringing Spider-Man Remastered and Miles Morales to the PC. So tell me more about how they lied, Lucas.
All right, they've been lying to us for quite some time, and I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of it. This last stunt that they did with Mary Jane, that's the that's the straw that broke the camel's back. They started off, remember Puddlegate? It's like, well, we just it's like they took your jam. Oh, no. All right, that's clearly different from the retail version.
And how many years have developers done this? Shown something in the trailer and it ends up different in the retail version. Obviously the trailer was showing the highest fidelity version on a PlayStation dev kit or even running on a PC at the time. To run on the PS4 or the PS5, we're going to have to dumb it down and reduce the amount of quality on screen. This is a common thing we've seen throughout video game history. Retail version is always slightly different from the trailers.
But we let it slide, all right? It was the first Spider-Man game. We were like, it's not that big of a deal. I'm still gonna play it. We're gonna buy it. It was still a good game. So it was like, okay, we're gonna let that slide. Puddlegate, all that nonsense.
I would like to know who the hell called it Puddlegate. That's a first for me. If someone else in the comments could just tell me if Puddlegate was an actual thing, I'd like to know. Then
it became, the Raimi suit, right? You remember hashtag Raimi Army, the Raimi Army, right? Fighting to get the Raimi suit in there. We finally get the suit in there. What do they come and say? Well, we were planning to do it all along, guys. We totally didn't cave to the Raimi Army. Stop it. You're lying.
Okay, I'm going to skip a lot of this nonsense just because this is irrelevant to the topic. So let's get on to the good part of it, shall we? Otherwise, I'm going to have to put him at 2 times speed.
Then they do the unthinkable, bruh. They do the unthinkable. They go and change the face of Peter Parker. You mean the man that we've seen since day one? You mean all the hype that we had for Spider-Man 1, the DLC content, 3 DLC contents, and then you're gonna face swap the person?
I can kind of agree with him. I have no idea why they changed the character model. There was no reason for it. But it made no difference to the game whatsoever. And when Spidey had the suit on, well, you're not gonna see his face anyway, so what does it really matter?
And they give us the biggest load of poop that I've ever seen in my life. Listen to me. Insomniac is the only company that can put poop in your hand and tell you it's ice cream.
Will you poop on me?
What?
Will you poop on me?
And what makes it worse is that these fanboys, these incessant, just sickening fanboys will go, oh, this is ice cream? This is delicious. What is this, cookies and cream? That's what they'll do, bruh.
Lucas talking about fanboys is quite rich, and he's normally the one that eats up anything Sony puts out. I don't know what the hell he's talking about here. What he normally does is eats up whatever Sony puts out, buys the most expensive version of whatever the game they make, and then bitches about it later. But with Spider-Man 2, it's a bit different. He seems to be bitching about the game before its release. We'll have to see how his mindset changes after the game release. Let's see if he loves or hates the game after he's played it.
That's what they'll do, all right? They can say anything and they'll just take it. Because what the reason that they gave us for this face swap, this unnecessary face swap, was that, hey, we needed a face that better aligns with the facial capture of Yuri Lowenthal. What? What? What are you talking about? That's the whole point of facial capture, pimpin'.
If I'm talking about pimping, been since pimping, since been pimping, since been pimping. It's in your blood, it's in my blood.
The only people who bought this are people who know nothing about facial capture, which I'll admit, I'll be, the majority of people who play video games.
Hell no, most of the people that play video games want to play a video game, where the gameplay comes first and the graphics is just a cherry on the cake. Facial capture and nice graphics is absolutely amazing and all that. I love what they've done with Unreal Engine 5 so far, but it's not the forefront of gaming. The gameplay is. They shouldn't give so much of a shit about the facial capture. So now Lucas proceeds to talk about Peter's character model for so long, and that's not the meat of this video. The meat is when he talks about Mary Jane's character model. That's the fun part, so let's skip forward to that one.
One eternity later.
Shut your mouth. Okay, not M-O-U-T-H, M-O-U-F. Shut your mouth.
Shut up, blood!
All right, but anyways, then we get to this recent debacle, and that is Mary Jane, where James Stevenson, man, he topped his whole pool gate. He topped it with this one. He comes out and says, guess what, guys? You know the clear difference in the character model that you see in the trailer? Well, there is no change.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong, Walter. You're just an asshole.
Okay then.
Well, Lucas isn't wrong here. There is clearly a change in the character model between the first Spider-Man game and this one. You'd have to be completely blind not to notice.
All right? There is no change. What do you mean there is no change? There is no change. It's all in your head. All right? I don't know who the hell James Stevenson thinks he is, but maybe his family has got him thinking that he's a Jedi. That's the only conclusion I can come to. Upon this belief that he's a Jedi, is now thinking that he can use his Jedi powers of manipulation of the weak minds, which clearly seem to be working, so maybe he is a Jedi.
You think you're some kind of Jedi waving your hand around like that?
But it's not working on all of us, all right? For those of you who actually believe that that's the same model, you are a simpleton.
Again, it's a clear difference between the character models. Like I said, you'd have to be completely blind to miss it, but there's no point getting angry about it. Who really cares what the characters look like? I actually think the new one looks better, even though I do think she looks more like Peter's mother than, I love her.
You're a dolt, okay? You are a lackluster cretin. You are just absolutely abysmal, okay? You are just a shameful entity.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
There is no way in God's green earth someone can be this dumb. There is no way in God's green earth that's the same model. And for James Stevenson to come out and say, that's the same model, that's the same actress, bruh, are you crazy? Because you think we're crazy, all right? Now I know the weak minds of the world who looked at James Stevenson's tweet and was like, oh, okay, it's the same model. Yeah, I get it. I understand. You'll let us through, all right? These are not the droids you're looking for.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
I have to love Lucas's analogies, because he goes off on a massive tangent all the time, and I thought I was bad for doing it, especially on my live streams. I go off on a tangent with chat all the time. This guy is on another level. Like I said, no one should really give a shit about this stuff. As long as the core gameplay is fine, this is a really bad complaint. But I do agree with him in one way. The studio shouldn't have lied about what they did with the character models when they just straight up say, well, we prefer these new ones and we would rather use these character models in the future, rather than just lie to fans of the game, I suppose.
For those of you who are like, oh yeah, those aren't the droids we're looking for, you can go and pass. But for the rest of us, we're like, no, that's not the same face, okay? Unless you want to say that Mary Jane, okay, for some reason, I don't know, got trapped in a aging chamber or something. Unless you want to say that this woman's genes, okay, are just abysmal. Like, if you want to go into the whole talking point of white women age like milk, then that's what you want to say. Then go on and say it then. Just say white women in our universe age like milk.
Sir, you are a cruddy little scudball with all the innate lovability of an itchy veruca.
But not regular milk. We're talking about like really fast, okay? We're talking about like in seconds.
I honestly think Lucas is so angry about this because they're changing his favourite game franchise, and he doesn't like the change. He would have to really admit that he really fancies the young Mary Jane from the original game, rather than this slightly more mature one.
That's what we're talking about. What? There ain't no way in God's green earth. No way in God's green earth. How the heck is... Bro, Miles is supposed to be the youngest, okay? But why does Miles look the oldest? Well, actually, no. Mary Jane now looks the oldest.
I think Miles' character model is perfectly fine. He looks like he's aged appropriately. I think he's the only one that stayed consistent. And I also think Miles Morales is a really good character in the game franchise as a whole. I mean, the game dedicated to him was my favourite out of the two, weirdly enough. I just thought it was a better story overall.
Mary Jane looks like the grandma. She looks like Aunt May with the red wig of Peter and Miles. Mary Jane looks like she freaking is the babysitter of Peter and Miles. And can we get over, I can't get over Peter's face. Because Peter, you want to know who Peter reminds me of? Peter reminds me of Krieger. That's correct, Simon Krieger for the Miles Morales one. He looks like his cousin, a relative, a distant nephew or something. That's who
he honestly looks nothing like him. What the hell are you going on about, Lucas? Krieger and Peter look completely different. I honestly think Lucas is the one that needs to get his eyes checked now. Put your glasses back on, boy.
He looks like. I despise his character. I despise his character, his face, his design, everything. It's horrible. It's piss poor, okay? Mary Jane, that is not the same model, okay? It's not. If you want to get technical, possibly it is the same model, but to say that's the same design is foolishness.
That's about it from Lucas. I just thought this rant was really funny. It's something I stumbled upon while I was searching through YouTube. It's always fun to watch Lucas have a rant because the guy's just a massive lol cow. I don't think the guy's ever that serious. I think he's just doing it for attention or just for the views. I have no idea at this point. I think most of the PlayStation fanboys do. But the funniest part of it is he had a follow-up video saying that he actually likes the new Mary Jane character model. Or in that sort of a sense, anyway. That'll do it for me. I just found this one a proper treat for me and probably all of you, because we all love the amazing Lucas. He's our favourite PlayStation fanboy. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you so choose to, and I'll see you in the next one.
First in line to absolutely suck those Microsoft toes.